I still remember the way my mother's voice cracked over the phone. "Sarah, please. For your brother's sake. Just don't wear the uniform. Put on a nice dress like everyone else. This is his day, not yours." Her words hit me harder than any training exercise I'd ever been through. I stood there in my apartment, still in my fatigues after a long day, staring at the phone like it had betrayed me. Because in that moment, it felt like my own family had. My name is Sarah, and for 8 years I served my country as a military medic. I've patched up soldiers under fire, held hands through the worst nights of their lives, and carried the weight of decisions no one should have to make at 25. I was proud of that uniform. It represented every sacrifice, every tear, every time I chose duty over comfort. But to my family, it was an embarrassment. My younger brother, Ethan, was getting married to a girl from a very traditional, image-conscious family. My parents had been planning this perfect wedding for over a year, and somewhere along the way, I became the problem. The older sister who looked too military, the one who might make the photos look off balance, the one who might remind everyone that while they were planning centerpieces and color schemes, I was deployed overseas keeping people alive. "Sarah, honey," my dad said when I tried to talk to him. "You know we're proud of you. But today is about celebration. Can't you just blend in? Hide the uniform for one afternoon? Hide it, like it was something shameful. Like I was something shameful." I cried that night. Not loud, ugly sobs, the quiet kind that shake your shoulders and make you feel small. I had faced enemy fire, but nothing prepared me for my own family asking me to erase who I had become. The week before the wedding, the pressure became unbearable. My mother sent me texts every day. Ethan even pulled me aside during the rehearsal dinner. "Sis, please don't make this weird. Mom's already stressed. Just wear the blue dress we bought you." I smiled through it all, but inside something was breaking. I nodded. I said I understood. But deep down, a quiet voice inside me whispered, "No more hiding." I didn't know it then, but that decision would change everything. The wedding day arrived under a perfect blue sky. The venue was stunning. White chairs lined up neatly, flowers everywhere, soft music playing. I stood in front of the mirror in my hotel room, holding the blue dress my family had chosen for me. It was beautiful, safe, forgettable. Then I looked at my dress uniform hanging beside it, crisp, proud, medals gleaming. Every ribbon told a story. Every button reminded me of the woman I fought to become. I made my choice. I put on the uniform. When I walked into the ceremony, I felt every eye on me. Whispers rippled through the crowd. My mother's face went pale. My father looked disappointed. Ethan shot me a look that said, "How could you?" The ceremony itself was lovely, but I felt like an outsider at my own brother's wedding. During the family photos, they tried to position me in the back. My mother actually whispered, "Sarah, maybe stand behind the others?" I smiled for the cameras, but my heart was shattering. At the reception, it got worse. Ethan's new in-laws kept giving me strange looks. Someone even asked if I was security. My own aunt pulled me aside and said, "Sweetheart, maybe you should change. You're making people uncomfortable." I excused myself to the restroom and locked the door. I leaned against the sink, gripping the edges until my knuckles turned white. Tears stung my eyes. Why am I never enough for them? All those years of service, all the nights I wondered if I'd make it home. And here, at my brother's wedding, I was the problem. I thought about leaving, just slipping out quietly and driving home, but something stopped me. A deep, quiet strength I'd found in the military. The same strength that kept me going when everything hurt. I walked back out. That's when everything changed. A group of older men in suits had just arrived. 12 of them. I didn't recognize them at first, but they noticed me immediately. One by one, they stood up. Then they started walking toward me with purpose in their steps. My heart pounded. What was happening? The oldest gentleman with silver hair and a chest full of medals I recognized instantly reached me first. He extended his hand and said in a voice loud enough for the nearby tables to hear, "Ma'am, thank you for your service." One by one, the other 11 men followed. They shook my hand. They looked me in the eye. Some had tears in their own. They told me their stories: Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. Brothers in arms, even though we'd never met. The entire reception went silent. Guests turned to watch. My family stood frozen near the head table.
What happened next felt like a movie scene I could never have scripted. The 12 veterans didn't just shake my hand and sit down. They formed a respectful line and began applauding. Not polite clapping, a full, heartfelt ovation. Other guests started joining in. Soon the entire room was standing and clapping for me. My mother covered her mouth. My father looked at the floor. Ethan's face went bright red. The perfect wedding they had fought so hard to control was no longer about them. One of the veterans, a retired colonel, turned toward my family's table and spoke with calm authority. This young woman has served her country with honor. She deserves respect, not to be hidden away. If that makes anyone uncomfortable, that's their problem, not hers. The words landed like thunder. I stood there, tears finally falling freely down my cheeks. But this time, they weren't from pain. They were from release, from being seen, from being valued by strangers when my own blood had tried to make me small. My brother never came over to apologize that night. My parents left early. The tension was thick, but I didn't feel broken anymore. I felt powerful. In the weeks that followed, everything shifted. Ethan called me crying, admitting how ashamed he felt. My mother sent a long message saying she never realized how much she had hurt me. It wasn't perfect. Family wounds take time, but real conversations finally began. Those 12 veterans. We still keep in touch. They became the father figures and big brothers my own family couldn't be in that moment. They reminded me that real respect doesn't always come from blood. Sometimes it comes from shared sacrifice. Looking back, I don't regret wearing the uniform. It wasn't revenge in the loud, angry way people expect. It was quieter, deeper. It was simply refusing to be ashamed of who I am. If you're watching this and your family has ever tried to make you feel small for your achievements, your identity, or your journey, hear me. Don't hide. Don't shrink. Stand tall in your truth, because the right people will stand up with you. And sometimes, the ones who try to dim your light end up watching it shine the brightest. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it today. You are enough. You are worthy. And you never have to hide your light.